Right, I've been asked by a couple of people to just do a quick review, or rather a quick demonstration of how the bipod that I've got fitted to the Steyr Pro X actually works. Yeah, it's made by a company called Airforce, and they're based in Texas in the US, and I got it from Steyr UK, specifically to fit on this this particular rifle. Now it mounts in a most unusual way, because it actually mounts on like a rail that fits onto the telescopic sight rail on this rifle. Now on the Steyr, it's got a separate Picatinny rail, raised Picatinny rail, that sits onto this, what I guess would regard as a normal scope rail. So this fits onto that, so it just bolts on like a telly sight onto that. The legs are multi-positional, and you pull that lever down and move it across, so you can have them tilting forwards, and they fold away, so you go all the way that way. So you see you've got various positions you can put them in, and they lock up really solidly in place. All in all, it's a really solid bit of kit. So that clamps onto your scope rail, and then this here is a tensioner for how much swivel you want in the mount. So it's multi-adjustable, because like I say, you can point your legs forward, point them back, whichever you like, and it's also got a tilt facility on it as well. The legs are extendable, a bit using the same sort of method as a Harris bipod. They've got sort of rubberized feet on them, and they appear to be held on with little dowels, so I don't know whether you can get replacements for them, but I haven't seen any. And again, height adjustable, so you can set various settings, however long you want them really. And then they lock away, folded like that. Personally, I really like it. I think it's a great way to mount a bipod on a rifle. It's neat, it's tidy. You know, it fixes away really neatly. I like it, man. I think it's one of the nicest bipod mounting systems I've seen, and also because the weight of the gun is underneath the pivot point, it provides an extremely solid base. It really does. The gun's incredibly stable underneath that type of fixing. It's very heavy. It's a heavy, well, it's not very heavy, but it's, for a bipod it is heavy, but it's very, very solidly constructed. The only thing is, I would imagine the number of rifles it will fit on are probably limited, because you need room underneath the scope to fit it on, and it fits on normal dovetails. So I suppose you could fit one on any rifle and then mount your telescopic sight in very high mounts, extra high mounts, to overcome the height of this here. You know, sort of that high, inch maybe. Either that or fit a short eye relief telescopic sight. One of the ones where you press your eye up against the back, like the MTC one, MTC Viper I think it is, where you press your eye up against the back. Or even just a normal 30mm objective, where you've just basically got your tube coming out here. If you've got one of those scopes on it, then and in high mounts, then this wouldn't be a problem at all. You'd see straight over the top of it. But it's such a stable platform when it's deployed. I'll just deploy it. Second. So we've got the tilt there, and that loosens off or tightens up if you want to lock it in place. But because the weight sits under the pivot point, the weight of the rifle sits under the pivot point, it gives a real rock solid mounting. Now the other bipods I've got this one. Now this is an Adras, I think they're called, style one. This fits on a underside Picatinny rail. Fits on with a simple cam mounted. Just closes down, locks in place. Dead simple. Again, adjustable legs. This one, just pull that down and it slides up and down on it. And on these as well, they have a little spring-loaded pin in there. And if you push this little pin in, these little rubber feet come out and you can actually fit little metal spiked feet to go on it. Again, this bipod, adjustable for cam and tilt. See that swivels. So you've got some cam movement there, lean it over side to side, and it swivels round freely, and you can lock it out with that big screw there. Legs go forward and back again, similar to that one. You just pull that little lever down, push it in rather, and they tilt forward or backwards again on securing themselves on those little toothed indents. This isn't a proper Adras one. This was a dirt cheap Chinese copy that I got off eBay, but I've owned one of these bipods that are being sold by some of the better known airgun manufacturing, airgun distributing in the UK for around about 60 or even 70 quid. I think I've seen some of them selling them for, because they're branded. And I've seen those and they're absolutely identical. There's no difference at all between them and this, probably from exactly the same factory. This was, I think, 17 quid off eBay. Comes in black or comes in this sort of champagne colour. For the money, this is a superb bipod. And it was when I had a gun that had a Picatinny rail on the underside. This was one of my favourite ones to fit. It's not overly heavy. It's moderately streamlined when it's fitted to the rifle. Easy to deploy, folds away either down the barrel or in front of the barrel, depending on where you've got it on, to stock rather, depending on where you've got it fitted. So all in all, for overall adjustability, easy use, it's actually quite a good bipod that. I quite like that, this style. Much prefer it over the Harris bipods. Never a big fan of them, I think they look ugly. All those springs and God knows what. And they're also quite noisy in deployment. So I always find the springs boing a bit, which is a bit of a giveaway. So I like this type of bipod. It's a good bipod. Then we've got mega expensive. Again, this was bought second hand off eBay. This is a Spartan bipod. These things weigh nothing at all. They're so light, it's ridiculous. Carbon fibre legs, really lightweight aluminium castings for the top. And this was the one that fits on a Picatinny mounting again, screws on there. And with these, basically, it's all magnetic, so that just slots in. So once it's in, it's in. The only trouble with these is, if you undo that, you've got a bit of, as you can see, you've got cam, so you can tilt it around from side to side, and it swivels around as well. So you've got cam play and your twist play. But what you haven't got, your legs are stuck right down at 90 degrees to the mounting. You can't tilt them forward or tilt them back. You're fixed with that. That's all you get. There's no, you know, no facility to move the legs forward or backwards once it's in play, which is a bit of a, it's a bit of a ball ache sometimes, because that ability to tilt them forward and backwards gives you an extra bit of adaptability in how high you want your bipod legs to be. These extend, little turners, they've got little rubber feet. If you take those off, there's little spikes underneath. It's a brilliant thought out system. It's just that inability to be able to slide them forward or backwards that's a bit of a downer. But again, a nice bipod, dead lightweight, really nicely put together, nicely built. That, I have to say, because on this, unlike that one which has got a quick release cam, the idea of this is that sits permanently on your Picatinny rail underneath your rifle, and then when you want your bipod, which you carry in your pocket because it weighs nothing, it just slots in with the magnet. But I personally think that looks a bit unsightly on a rifle. It's not. It looks great when you've got the bipod on and it's deployed. It looks fantastic because that is one. It is a really smart bipod. Yeah, once that's on your rifle, that is nice. You know, all that carbon fibre and everything. It's simple. It is a nice looking bipod. And it adds to a good looking gun, without a shadow of a doubt. But that stuck on your Picatinny rail underneath your rifle when you're not using your bipod is a bit unsightly. They do make different versions of this. They make one that fits onto a sling swivel stud, but they also make, and the sexiest and by far the best, if it'll fit on your gun, is they make one that actually countersinks into the underside of your stock. It's like a little metal barrel basically that actually drill out your stock and it slots in. Now I've seen that on a stalking rifle and it is fantastic. It's really sleek because from the outside all you see literally in the base of your rifle there's a little hole like that, and the guy that had it, the one that I saw, had made a little metal plug that fits in with a blanking plate, so when he wasn't using his bipod you saw literally nothing, just saw a little black circle of metal in the base of the stock. It sits absolutely flush, so you can't see anything at all, and then when you're in your bipod, that just pops straight into the base of your stock in effect. So you get that effect, and you just straight onto your stock. So tidy, so smart. The only trouble is you have to have a reasonable depth of stock because it's got to be deep enough to fit the magnetic part of that into your stock. So it's got to be at least, well, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch deep, your woodwork or your stock, to enable the gunsmith to fit the insert. But if you can do it, and I've seen it on a stalking, like I say, I've seen it on a stalking rifle, and God, it looks smart. I mean, it looks really slick, and it gives a rock solid base for your shooting as well. So these are nice. Spartan's lovely, nice bipod. Bit unsightly with that, but if you're not that bothered, if you actually spend a lot of your time with your bipod fixed, then they don't look too bad once it's mounted on. You know, that's not too unsightly. on, and you can see how smooth, streamlined and slick it is compared to that. The only advantage this has got is the fact that you can tilt the legs forwards and backwards, and this costs 16 quid, 17 quid off eBay. These new, pushing the 200 odd, 250 quid I think, which is a lot of money, but they are good. But I have to say, if your rifle can take it, the best one, I think, personally, is this. It's heavy. Yes, it is. For a bipod, it is heavy. But it's really durable. It's built, with it being an American item, I believe it's made primarily for full-bore rifles. It's proper heavy duty. And the way your gun sits below it gives a really nice platform. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I hope that answers anyone's questions on this particular bipod and on the others that you can get as well. Thank you.